Hello and welcome to the Sober Experience, formerly known as the Spiritual Experience, where we share stories of overcoming problematic situations in life through triumph and working together, as well as recovery topics and all other forms of spirituality, self-help, and the like. I'm your host, Jay Lewis, and here we go. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. Sober Experience. You know the deal. Like and subscribe on all podcast platforms. Also, find us on YouTube at the Sober Experience. We have a page where you can, what do they call it? Like, comment, and subscribe. Excuse me. All right, I know that was bad. It's okay. Nice Saturday afternoon. Chilling. We got some more interviews coming up in the pipeline. I'm being a little bit more proactive about that. So we shall see. Yeah, man, spring is around the corner, and feeling pretty good. You know, I had a couple of days where, things were, they get gray for no reason. It's okay. I just let them pass. Not a big deal. Anyway. We read something today that really struck me at a meeting, so I wanted to share it because it was dope. It's actually, it's titled Hope. It says, "Do not be discouraged." Alcoholics Anonymous, page 60. Few experiences are of less value to me than fast sobriety. Too many times discouragement has been the bonus for unrealistic expectations, not to mention self-pity or fatigue from my wanting to change the world by the weekend. Discouragement is a warning signal that I may have wandered across the God line. The secret of fulfilling my potential is acknowledging my limitations and believing that time is a gift, not a threat. Hope is the key that unlocks the door to discouragement. The program promises me that if I do not pick up the first drink today, that I'll always have hope. Having come to believe that I keep what I share, every time I encourage, I receive courage. It is with others, with the grace of God and the fellowship of AA, I trudge the road of happy destiny. May I always remember that the power within me is far greater than any fear before me. May I always have patience, for I am on the right road. Yeah, man, that was like some powerful stuff. And I totally identify with it because, I want to change circumstances instantaneously and not like give things time to develop, because I believe that I know the way the way that life should go for both myself and other people on my time. And it's never on my time. It's always on time's time. If that time could be on God's time, it could be on Mother Earth's time, it could be on any time, it could be like whatever, But I think that's the most important thing that you only really get with, you get that kind of wisdom, as you experience life. Like how many times have I not only wasted my time by trying to be so impulsive in fixing every single little corner of every problem that I have, in one sitting, but it's not only been a waste of time, but it's been actually, in many cases, destructive, because it doesn't allow me to have the proper analysis, and not like feverishly, but just like an awareness of, things don't explode. They explode at the end. The fuse is lit long before the bomb goes off, and that's what I believe. And it's hard to watch, to watch other people light the fuse. For myself, I just, I have everybody just warning me at all times, and including me warning myself, saying, hey, there's some things you are neglecting that you need to be doing because it's going to blow up. Like the fuse is already lit. It's going to blow up. So what are you going to do? Are you going to, just allow that to happen? Because, I'm in control. I have some kind of influence on the things that I do. But the problem is that I have this gnawing kind of little voice that just says, nah, man, how about we just fuck off? Why don't we just do that? Let's just fuck off. And then I feel like, dude, me fucking off, I don't even get to enjoy the time that I'm doing it. My procrastination, I don't enjoy it anymore. So I've been a little bit thrown off my schedule, so I haven't been exercising super, super regularly. And I was in a good groove for a while. I'd get up, I'd eat, I'd do some exercise, I'd meditate, I'd go to the gym or whatever, and then go to work and blah, blah, blah. Then all of a sudden I start to get the results from doing that, and then I'm like, yeah, how about not? How about you? Yeah, how about not? How about we just don't do that? And, yeah. And then what happens? Then, I start to feel low again. I do. I start to feel low again. And then when I'm feeling low, it's hard for me to shake off on my own. And I can't shake it off in one day. I can't be like, okay, well, today I'm going to meditate. Today I'm going to go to the gym. Today I'm going to go to a meeting. Today I'm going to do the things with my work and with my life and with my family that I've been avoiding. Whatever it is. It could be something like cleaning out my van. It could be something, again, work-related or, whatever. I think it's mostly like responsibility related. Like an example is, and this is maybe an extreme example for some of you, but it is a real one for me. My wife bought me those, the little plastic things that go on the water pick so you can blast freaking water through your teeth, Hold on. Sorry, I'm taking a drink of something. And I was also doing that every day. Consistency. And then since I've been back from my trip to Vermont, I'm like, yeah, I can't find my piece. Meanwhile, it comes in a pack of like 11, right? So instead of me getting another one, I'm like, nah, fuck it. I'm going to skip today. Then today turns into tomorrow and the next day and whatever. And now it's like, oh, you haven't been, doing the water. Not that whatever that is, doing the water between the teeth is an example of another way that I just fronted on myself. And that's what I've been doing. A little bit at a time, I've been fronting on myself. And it's not easy to get back on track. Going back to the reading, what was it saying about discouragement? Few experiences are of less value to me than fast sobriety. Too many times discouragement has been the bonus for unrealistic expectations, not to mention self-pity fatigue from my wanting to change the world by the weekend. So now that I've been bullshitting in all these other different ways in my life, I want to get it all right in one day, which is not possible. So I'm going to have to start from ground zero. Say, okay, like today, I'm going to do what I need to do today. Push myself forward. And then, whenever the results mentally start to come, then I'll feel better. That's kind of like the way that it goes. It's not always easy, because you don't, you don't get, you don't get well overnight, and you don't stay well forever. Let's read another thing that it has here. This is from the 20. The first one was the Daily Reflections. This is from the 24 Hour Day book. It's a great book. We're in the third month, so a lot of the readings have to do with the third step, which states, made a decision to turn my will and my life over to the care of God as we understood him. You know, that's what that means. And so what does that even mean before I get into the reading, right? I made a decision. You know, in a lot of my life, decisions were made for me. You know, my ego, my ego, my incessant demand to be right, the drugs, the alcohol, the women, the wanting more. That is what propelled all of the decisions I made. Now, I made the decisions on my own, I guess, but sometimes, like, bro, the bottle made that decision. You know, I suffer the consequences. I can say that. You know, I have to live with the consequences, but I don't make all my decisions. That's what happens, you know, up until that point when you're addicted. So at this point in my life, you know, whenever I got to that third step, that's the first time I have to actually sit there and decide. Nobody's going to decide for me. You know, I mentioned it one time before that I actually am pretty good with structure and with discipline and with somebody telling me what to do. It's very hard for me to be number one. You know, I don't have the discipline to be number one on my own, but I can be a really good number two. And that's okay. You know, God has got to be number one now. And the principles that I get in recovery of love and tolerance and, you know, all of that kind of stuff, humility, that's the discipline. So if I made a decision to turn my will and my life, like, over to the care of God as I understand him, it doesn't even say, like, over to the, you know, the word is the word. So it doesn't say to turn my life over to the rules of God or to, like, the direction of him or whatever. Care. And care is like a loving word. You know, that's what it means to me. Like, you know, I'm turning my life over to something that loves me, that higher power. Now, it could be God, however you want it to be. That's the beautiful thing about AA and NA and all the other 12-step programs, that it could be whatever. You know, I always described God as a higher power or whatever, as that magic that happens between two people or more, where everybody's trying to help each other and everybody's trying to love each other, and you just feel that magic in the room, and it's beautiful, and it's accepting, and it doesn't care what your credit score is. It doesn't care who you vote for. You know, it doesn't care about any of that stuff. It just wants you to be okay. And that's what I'm turning my life over to, that energy, that power. And that power only comes when I'm giving. You know, I'm blessed enough to be able to give. Whatever that means to you. That's what it means. I'm blessed enough for the opportunity and for the ability to give. You know, and I think we all are. We can all give different ways and different things and help other people feel that security and feel that care. You know? So yeah, the care of God. As I understand him. It means it's my own concept. It's my own thing. You know, people, they don't like the God stuff. I'm like, whatever, bro. It's okay. You don't even have to like it. You don't even have to acknowledge it. There are people, I know guys that are atheists that are, you know, if you're happy, good for you. God doesn't care that you don't believe in him. If he did, he wouldn't be God. Or at least mine. Mine isn't going to take care of you either way. You know? Like, you know, you can forgive him. You can be mad at him. her, zer, whatever. It's all good. It's all good. It's all love and it's all good. And we always have those opportunities. Okay, so let me get to the second reading. And I didn't read this one yet today, so who knows what kind of surprises will be down the page. Over a period of drinking years, we've proved to ourselves and to everybody else that we can't drink, or we can't stop drinking on our own willpower. Okay, that's true. We have been proved helpless before the power of alcohol. So the only way to stop drinking was by turning to a power greater than ourselves. We call that power God. The time that you really get this program is when you get down on your knees and surrender yourself to God as you understand him. Surrender means putting your life into God's hands. Have I made a promise to God that I will try to live the way he wants me to live? Meditation for the day. Spirit power comes from communication with God in prayer and times of quiet meditation. I must consistently seek spirit communication with God. This is a matter directly between me and him. Those who seek it through the medium of the church do not always get the joy and the wonder of the spirit communication with God. From this communication comes life, joy, peace, and healing. Many people do not realize that the power that can come to them from direct spirit communication. I don't even know what that whole thing means. Hold on, let me hit this button. Nathan, I'll call you back. I don't even know what that spirit means, or that whole thing means. So I'm just going to disregard it, and that's that. It says, and then the prayer for the day. I pray that I may feel God's power is mine. I pray that I may feel that God's power is mine, yeah. I pray that I may be able to face anything through that power. I guess that, so for me, I guess facing anything through that power is that, I have the direction that I can face anything with love and with love and just, I think that's the answer. I had a couple of instances this week where, I got agitated and I actually had, I had to call my sponsor because I was mad. I yelled at a customer. And I yelled at them because they were yelling over me. They're like, oh, I sent them a picture of some work we did for them, a video. And they were like calling me back and they were like, hey, listen, it's one thing if you don't like, well, the work, that's fine. Like, hey, look, I'm not satisfied. This happened, that happened, whatever, right? It's another thing to run your fucking mouth. Where you're saying, oh, I don't even know if your guys are qualified to do this kind of work or this. And then she went, I don't like this. I didn't like this. She named like 3 or 4 things, which is fine. I didn't even get defensive at that point. But I was like, oh, I said, I can address each one. It's no problem. Then as I start addressing them, she starts getting loud and talking over me. I said, are we going to have like an argument or a conversation? She's like, no one's arguing. I'm not arguing with you. I said, well, you believe one thing. I believe something else. You're saying that you know more than me. That's what you're telling me, which is okay if you're allowed to believe that. But the truth is that our policy states, oh, you're not happy? We'll try and make it right. You want to pop shit? No problem. I know I didn't damage anything. I know I didn't ruin anything. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to give you your article back. I'm going to give you your deposit back. And you can go on your way. And they wanted to continue to argue. I was like, but there's no more arguing. I said, that's it. I bring you your thing. Here, have a nice day. I don't need the money. I don't want the aggravation. I don't even have to prove to you anything. I don't feel the need to. And maybe it was my ego that wanted me to say that. But it was the truth. I was like, dude, I just want this thing out of my hair. This person is not a willing participant in a constructive conversation. This person just thinks they know better, and that, which is fine. Here, look, I'll give you your rug back. You send it somewhere else. It's okay. We wash hundreds of rugs every month. Hundreds. And guess what? We are not perfect. And guess what? Sometimes mistakes are made because we are not perfect. And guess what? We own them. And we try and fix them when they happen. Or there are times when you perceive that something happened because you are uneducated and I am the expert in the equation. So as I'm trying to explain to you, if you still feel that you know more than me, then the conversation is over. And, you know, it felt good to be like that, but since she was yelling over me, I should have just waited, but I didn't. I yelled over her a little bit. So I called Yariv. We went through the whole thing, you know, and I don't have, and I guess, you know, where was I, you know, selfish, self-seeking, dishonest, and afraid in that interaction? I wasn't anything except for dishonest. You know, I was dishonest in a way to myself that I know that even though we have a great reputation and I live by a certain amount of principles, that I think that you know, I get a little bit disturbed when other people don't live by those principles. And that's where and because I'm not honest with myself enough to be like, hey, look, what do I always say? Everything's on the menu, right? So even people who are crazy are on the menu. So when I run into one, I don't need to participate. Like, hey, man, I don't need to participate. Even the little that I did. I don't like that somebody insults my workers and says that they're not qualified to do shit. And I'm like, bitch, you don't even know what you're talking about. You know, you can still say, oh, I don't like the way that looks. And that's okay. But don't say my guys are not qualified. Are they even qualified to do this kind of work? And I'm like, and then ego starts coming like, bitch, are you stupid? You know, we work on $70,000, $80,000 pieces. You have an $1,100 rug that you got backpacking somewhere that you fucking neglected and fucked up the fringes, and we fixed them. And you didn't like the fact that that when we fixed them, we didn't use a dark enough color of cotton on the fringe to match the distressed, worn out fringe that you had there because you don't take care of your shit. But I don't even have to really be like that. I'm like, look, there's no way to replicate wear, you know, and fading and damage. And she's like, it's not damaged. I was like, and meanwhile, when she starts telling me her shit isn't damaged, meanwhile, I have like photos, videos, this. I'm like, all right, yeah. This is somebody who just, you know, I guess they feel good about themselves. They're going to be like, oh, I got over on the rug guy. I know more than him in her fucking mind, right? Meanwhile, like I'm part of a community that we service, you know, thousands of people every year without incident. And I'm well respected in my professional community and I know who I am. So that's what I'm saying. You know, so it's not that I'm trying my best to shorten the time where I become undisturbed by that kind of stuff. And I can only do it with, you know, with analysis. Because then what happens? Like, dude, I'm not going to be perfect, but I don't want to waste an hour of my time staying angry, even after I get off the phone with this lady, you know, and it comes in threes, you know, so it's just like we'll go months and months without incident. And then, you know, when I went and dropped off another piece, I was like, oh, my guy cleaned the couch here. I said, oh, it looks pretty good. And she was like, yeah, she's like, there's a stain in the back that wouldn't come out. I was like, okay, so let me take a look at it. I looked at it. Contractors were painting in her apartment. They got paint all over the back of the couch. And guess what? We didn't make the fucking problem. We tried to fix it, and it could not be fixed. It's just how it goes. Not everything can be fixed, you know. Go chase the contractors for that or whatever. And then she was another one, you know, that she started complaining. And I was like listening to her complaints. And she's like, because then, you know, when one thing is wrong, then she's looking at everything else, which is okay. And I gave her the space for all of that. But she was just so overwhelmed. She's like, you know, I had a big flood in my apartment. They had to replace my floors. I had contractors, this and that. She said, I just want everything to be finished. I don't, you know. She's like, it looks like the rug here, like one thing bled into another area and whatever. And I was just like, this is like a day after the other thing with the one lady. And I was just like, I was like, this kind of rug, it's not possible. The colors don't run. I said, I can explain to you what this is. And I started to get a little bit technical to explain to her, but it didn't matter. She was just like, yeah, I'm just not, you know, I'm just over everything. I'm not, she's just like, all the frustration came out on me. Meanwhile, she still owed me money, right? So I said, look, I can take the rug back if you want, or I can sit here for 30 minutes, go through my phone, or queue up my video where that we take in a shop, and I can show you us scrubbing and washing your fucking rug, and there's no problems. Yeah, I can do that, or I can just take it and I'll try and fix it. I said the policy states that, you know, when somebody's not happy, we just try our best to make it right. And she's like, honestly, no, I don't want to send it back. And then she's like, but here's your money. And she goes to give me like this check, and it was whatever. It was like, I don't know, $250 or $300. I said, no. I said, then you keep the balance. I said, that's what we'll do. You'll keep the balance. And that's it. She's like, no. I said, no, it's okay. I'm the fucking owner. I'm the boss. This is, when I say like the policy states, it's very good for me to have those kind of policies or have something I can lean on that tells me what to do. And that's what the principles of AA are. It's a set of guidelines that I can say, oh, well, what you'll hear it all the time from people in recovery or people in the rooms. Well, the program says this. The book says this. So it's good. It takes my thinking out of the equation because the principles that I try to live by are led by what I told you before. Honesty, humility, love, forgiveness. And that's what it is. So I'm like, no, the policy states, hey, look, you're not happy. You keep the check. It's okay. I said, if you change your mind, it could be tomorrow. It could be next month. It's okay. You can call me back. I'll come. I'll pick up the rug. We'll fix it. It's no problem. If there's anything to be fixed, whatever, I'll do it. Yeah, it looked okay to me, you know. And I know because I actually did that one myself. So I know, you know what I'm saying. But I also know that it wasn't about me. That it was about her whole experience before I even got there, and the paint mark that was on the back of the couch was so almost invisible, but it wasn't perfect. And I don't know who was treating her otherwise, whether it's the building, whatever story was going on. She had her fucking dukes up, and she was like, because I asked her, I said, "Are you around on Saturday?" I said, "I'll come." I said, "I'm in the field on Saturday," which is almost never that I'm actually in the field cleaning stuff. I said, "I'll come by." I said, "There's some stuff maybe I can try and get it out." You know, my guys are incredible. They're very, very good, but they're also. They don't gamble. And I gamble, I'll gamble. You know, and I'll say, okay, here's a risk. But this thing can come out. It was already 95% out. But just like the gesture, just to let somebody know, like, hey, man, it's okay. You know, not everybody's trying to hurt you. And that's the thing that I wanted to drive home to her. I said, no, our policy is the dog. You're not happy and it's for a reasonable reason. And I see all this other stuff. I don't need that money. I don't. Not in the way that I would put myself in a position where I'd be uncomfortable taking it. Because I know that my rep is good, my name is good. So somebody else will call and we'll make the money that way. And this lady has a good experience, even with her perceived bad experience. She can be like, hey, look, I called these guys. I wasn't 100% happy. I had all this other shit going on. And then this guy wouldn't take the final payment. You know? Or she could say, I wasn't totally happy. He didn't offer to fix anything. And then I still had to fucking pay. You know, what kind of experience do I really want to leave with people? You know? But it's because I live this life that I know I have to do my best to play the long game. And the long game for me is about being disciplined every day. And as I'm talking about this now, this is when I'm coming out of my undisciplined mindset where I've been like dicking around. And it hasn't been that long that I've been dicking around. But when you make that commitment to yourself that like, dude, this is who I want to be. This is who I am. I'm a sober dad, business owner, podcaster, cold water swimmer, motherfucker to the max. That's who I am. And my kids can be like, yo, my dad is he's a little bit crazy. He's into a lot of other shit. And yeah, he's just not going to work, coming home, drinking beer, watching football. He's doing doing the martial arts stuff. Like, yeah, I'm into a lot of things. You know, I'm into a lot. And that's okay, because I want to live this life, man. I want to live this life while I can. Who knows? Maybe the Martians are coming. Maybe maybe the government's coming. Last thing I'll close out with is, I listened to Joe Rogan show with Cat Williams, and Cat has been in fucking hot water forever, right? Since the Club Shay Shay shit with everybody wearing dresses, doing butt stuff and all kind of stuff, and Hollyweird, whatever, right? So Rogan's like, dude, I'd have him on in a heartbeat. And it was nice to see two people who never met and admired each other from afar have this, like, hey, man, like, people have said shit about you, ivermectin boy, and I didn't comment because I don't know you, and you're allowed to be who you are. And Rogan's like, yeah, people have said some wild shit about you, and I don't I don't know who you are either. And it was so great. It was beautiful. Best part, right? I'm listening in my home, right? And fucking Cat Williams drops the fucking A-bomb on Rogan. Anunnaki. Right? And those of you who know me, who know me, know that is my shit. And I'm like, what? This guy's talking about Anunnaki? I paused it right away. And I was like, holy shit. I start texting my boys. I'm like, yo, like, Cat Williams is one of us. Like, my few heads that are down with the alien Anunnaki stuff, right? And the Sumerian tablets and everything, right? It's whatever. You know, it's like some people could believe in fucking Star Wars and be, what do they call them, Trekkies, Techies, whatever. It's fine. My shit is this shit. And, like, I'm not saying super deep rabbit hole, but I read all the Zachariah Stitchin books and whatever, right? All that stuff. And I listened to, Billy Carson, who's incredible. Yeah. And Rogan has a vague idea. This is what I mean. And this is how it came out to be so beautiful. So Kat is talking about this stuff with him. And Kat is telling him shit that I know or that I believe. And Rogan doesn't know it. He knows, but he's like, yeah, I know this, but I don't know that. And meanwhile, Kat is in 100 100% familiar with Stitchin's work, right? And Rogan is like, yeah, you know, this, that, or whatever, and talking about the Younger Dryas theory, and they're talking about, you know, ancient civilizations, how they're way smarter and way ahead of us, but we want, you know, the government wants you to believe that they were fucking sticks and stones. Like, yeah, fucking right, you know? And that, yeah, it's a good idea that the comets or whatever, meteors hit fucking Earth and restarted civilization and blah, 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 and whatever, right? So I'm listening, and, like, I am at the kitchen table now. I'm eating my steak and my eggs. It's nighttime. I'm texting my boys like, yo, blah, blah, blah. I should have like an alien group chat. I do, but it's like kind of separated into two. There's not a lot of us. Anyway, so Kat starts mentioning the emerald tablets of Thoth, right? Now, he says Thoth, but it's Thoth. Or whatever, he can say Thoth. I heard Thoth when I first learned about it, and when I heard that, I was like this. I was like, ooh, like banging on the fucking table with my headset on. I had to pause it. My youngest kid is over there watching Love Through the fucking, what is it? Love is Blind, or Fiance Through the Wall, whatever. Yeah, with my wife. And in my mind, I told you guys about I can't. All that stuff makes me brain dead. I'm dumb enough. I don't need to get any dumber. But they like that stuff, and because I also, if I do try to watch it with them, I get sucked in, and I feel dumber. Either way, so they're in the living room watching that. Right, this is my home. I'm here listening to my alien shit, eating my carnivore meal after Muay Thai in my little apartment. That's what my life is like. And then I stop, and then I was like, I almost couldn't keep listening because like, dude, this is going to keep me up all night. And then my wife comes into the kitchen, and she's like, dude, like, what's going on? Then I break it down to her. I was like, dude, blah, 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 you know, Cat Williams and and then they start going in that vein, and no spoiler alert, by the time this episode comes out, that episode will be weeks old. So a lot of people would have listened, but they stayed in that vein for the whole time. Nobody spoke about Chappelle or fucking stand-up comedy or, you know, they stayed in that vein about government conspiracies and global conspiracies, and the answer is love, and we have all we need to help each other and to love each other and all that shit. You know? And yeah. So, but I also knew that I was so excited that, you know, I told my wife, I was like, dude, this is what, like, whatever, Alphabet, Rainbow Mafia, LGBTQIA plus people must feel like when they feel seen, because I felt fucking seen, bro. I was like, oh my God. And it made me feel good because I was like, dude, I've been reading the Emerald Tablets for fucking years already. I have the audiobook on my phone of the actual translations, like all of that stuff. You know, Thoth, Hermes, it's the same guy, like the whole thing, you know? Yeah, the whole thing. And it just felt so good, bro. It really did. It felt so good. And it's nice, man. Like, I don't know. Nobody knows what's true. But it's more, for me, it's more fun to believe. And I'd rather believe in the good stuff. Acknowledge the bad stuff, but I'd rather believe in the good stuff. So if you're into any of that stuff, ancient technologies, Anunnaki, Emerald Tablets, Marduk, Enlil, Enki, any of those alternative theories, I would suggest you check out that podcast with Cat Williams and Rogan. I have one of my friends that I know is a boxing guy, and he hated it because he's like a super like Jesus is the only thing. And fuck all the Muslims. Or like whatever. Like, you know what I'm saying? And whatever. He's allowed to be like that. He's like, that was the worst one ever. He said you should listen to the Abigail Schreier one, which I started listening to. And maybe I'll get into that next time we speak. But because that was also very powerful. And this motherfucker had Dr. Phil on too. There was this, my homie at the, that we drove up to the lake, the frozen lake to swim with our little woke sister, Jess Ann, who I fucking love so much. She's like, the way you guys talk about Rogan, that's how I feel about Oliver, whatever his name is, the British guy, who used to be, I guess, cool, but then he's not really that cool to me anymore. John Oliver. And I broke it down to her. I said, listen, it's not, Rogan himself is whatever. I would never go watch him on stage. I don't find his comedy to be that funny. I find him himself to be funny, but it's about the guests that he has on. And he's such a good interviewer, and the way he asks questions, and he's just curious, and it's okay. And it's okay to ask questions and to not have the answers and to trust other people and to not just comply. You know, that's why a lot of people like Rogan. It can't, you know what I'm saying? It can't be like, oh, this guy, like people like think he's like some fucking right-wing nut or like whatever. And he's really, you know, unless you spend, you know, if you would have to listen to maybe 10 episodes, and that means that's 3,000 hours, which is not a lot, for you to really have an idea a little bit about who he is. You know, he's just not that guy. He's not that guy. But it's okay. Like the sound bites and whatever make him sound crazy, just like people have preconceived notions about all these other people too. You know, and that's okay too. And that's why I was like, dude, that fucking, it's about who he has on, you know. I learned a lot more about Bernie Sanders by listening to Rogan when he had him on. Nobody else did. I don't know, I think it was on there 90 minutes straight. An hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. Not even the Breakfast Club had Bernie on for that long. That's why, you know, and that was back then. And Andrew Yang and all these other people, you know. Oh, yeah, we're allowed to be independently thinking. That's the beauty about America. That's the beauty about this life. But as long as the policies and the principles are straight, yeah, the time you spend in the darkness won't be that long. So do yourself a favor. Do me a favor. Like and subscribe on all podcast platforms. Share this episode with your friends, with your family, whatever. Even if they don't like it, look for us on YouTube. You can share those videos as well. And we'll see you next week. All right. Love you guys. Peace.